for his ball club.
Thank you, Kat. We are back, and the Mavericks have just taken an L to the Philadelphia 76ers, and we are still blaming Billy for that loss, as they just it's his fault because I told him that Joel Embiid we were gonna be playing Joel Embiid. He wanted down Joel Embiid, we got something for him and all this other stuff, and They lose 97 to 111. But before we get into that, as we're in the post game show right now, I had to dig down deep to go find somebody to help us out tonight. Somebody who works at the Mavericks, somebody who's gonna give us some intel as to what's going on over there. But first off, let me just start by saying this is radio royalty right here.
Yes, it is.
This guy here also had a big part in my radio career or my broadcast career getting started. Without him, there would be no me. And you see him at Maverick games. You've heard him on you heard him on every radio station here in Dallas. Everywhere. This man, he really needs no introduction. He's the two-time Hall of Famer, Mr. Chris Arnold. And Chris, are you there?
Fellas.
Yeah, there he is.
How's it going?
My guy.
Mr. Chris at Mr. Chris Arnold on Twitter. If you want to get over there and give him a follow. How you doing tonight, man?
I've been better. The Mavericks lost. Otherwise, I've been all right.
Oh, it's all right. We're used to them losing here, so we're kind of used.
Shots fired.
We're kind of good here, man. Listen, man, big ups to going into the Hall of Fame 2 times now.
Yeah, first the Texas Black Sports Hall of Fame, and then this past November it was the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. So I feel honored and blessed, and I just thank all the listeners and people who've been keeping up with my career, because if they didn't get tired of me, I wouldn't have been around all these years, right?
Really think I should have been the one to hand you that award, since I did kind of help you out at the end of the career, help you get there.
You took me over the top.
Yeah, I put you over the top with that last bit we were working. So you down there at the AAC, you still MCing, and how's that working with the COVID rules?
They are now letting season ticket holders in. Now, they had started out the first 13 games at home, no crowd, no fans, just the players and some ambiance, and everybody said, man, it was like pickup games. It was just dead out there. It was nothing there. I mean, they didn't even have ushers and security people except for on the floor because there was nobody in the stands. So then they started letting in healthcare workers, and that's when I came back to MC the games, and that added a lot to it. But this last game against Boston, before they hit the road, they had a really nice crowd, and I think the crowd was charged up because every quarter was close, every possession was tight, and then of course Luka did his magic at the end there. So it was like an amazing crowd all the way from the concourse level to the top. I think they had like 2,800 fans, but it seemed like there were more because they were rowdy.
Right. So how does it work with you on the floor doing the all the name that tune stuff you do and everything like that?
Okay, I actually do it from the concourse level in the stands. There's kind of think about you've been to the games lots of times.
Yeah, where shipping them where him and Poison Ivy do the DJ in that?
That's on the opposite end.
Okay.
Now, you know how they got the drum line, the little platform area where they are?
Where the Maniacs dance.
The Maniacs stands. The Maniacs are over near where I am now.
Okay.
They've got we're on the complete opposite side of Poison Ivy, the drum line, and where the Maniacs used to be.
Okay.
But there's a flat area there.
Okay.
And it's kind of roped off. And they've actually let a certain media beat writers down there, kind of low, Brad Townsend, they call it the green level.
Okay.
All the other media are a little bit higher in the yellow level, like more towards I don't know, I guess you would call that the suites level.
Trust me.
I do everything.
We know about those suites
on
areas.
the floor. Yeah, those are the VIP media.
Yeah.
I do everything I would do on the floor, like the Whataburger, flying toss, or whatever. All that stuff is on the concourse stuff.
Oh. Okay, so do they let the people on the court to throw the fries in the bucket?
Nobody goes down to the court.
Okay.
It's all done concourse level. The only people on the court are the coaches and players and referees and certain photographers who are shooting the game on video camera. I say cameramen.
Sure. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty of this thing here. Your guy Mark Cuban came out the other day and put down these rumors about Kristaps Porzingis being traded. First, let me start off there. How do you assess that?
I assess that from the intel that I've gathered from all kinds of sources. I said, let me make some phone calls. First of all, trust me on these things. Just because somebody calls you and say, hey, what do you want for Porzingis, does not mean that you're trying to get rid of Porzingis, right? Mm-hmm. So if a team calls up and says, hey, what would y'all be willing to give us for Porzingis? And what would y'all be willing, if we want a Porzingis, what y'all want? That's just talk. And that's initiated from another team. Right. That doesn't mean the Mavericks initiated that conversation. At the same time, I can understand why people have his name bandied about. And it's part of the business. It's like, okay, the Mavericks are trying to get over the hump. Everybody that's not named Luka is in play. But just because you kick the tires or somebody kicks your tires does not mean that you're trying to have a fire sale and get rid of your second best player.
Can I ask you a question there, Mr. Arnold, if you don't mind? If I can't call you Mr. Arnold, right? Can I call you that, right?
You call me Chris.
Okay.
CA. My friends call me CA.
CA? Okay. I'll keep it as CA. Can you address the fact that on your radio station that you are still at 105.3 The Fan, Mr. Mark Cuban was poised with the question about Luka leaving, which I don't understand where that question's coming from. I know I roll my eyes too at that. He made the comment, well, we're not worried about that. Luka's a lifer. And for the love of me, I went back and I studied his comments last night. I was going through them. I was researching real hard. And I couldn't find in his comments where, when he was defending Porzingis, he said Porzingis is a lifer. Can you help me out with that? Where's that? What's up with that?
I didn't hear the interview, so I don't know if he was asked if Porzingis was a lifer.
No. At the end of when he was disputing that the trade talk that ever happened, it never happened. He didn't even say anything like, no, he's here for the long haul or he's a lifer or anything like that. I found that very interesting, especially since he went on the radio and was emphatic that Luka is a lifer here in Dallas.
Well, Luka is a lifer here in Dallas. That doesn't mean somebody else couldn't be as well. But like I said, you're nitpicking. You're trying to find it in. And the reason I'm saying that is because I talked to Brad Townsend, what was it, a couple of games ago, where somebody was asking about, it was a New York Knicks fan. Oh, we won that deal. Y'all stuck with Porzingis, and we won, as if they got some players. And so, you know what I'm saying? Because none of the players involved in that deal are with New York right now. Dennis Smith Jr. is playing for Detroit. DeAndre Jordan is playing for Brooklyn. And Wes Matthews is with the Lakers right now. Yeah. So the whole point was about how people try to do these aha moments. What does this mean? So Brad tweeted out, no, the Mavericks won because all the players that they got, including Porzingis, are rotational players, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy said, rotational players, what does that mean? You didn't say he was a starter. You didn't say he was a building block. And this is what Brad told me. He said, I only got 140 characters. I put rotational players. Right. So if you're going to nitpick, well, I'll go right ahead. I ain't argue with you.
I love Brad Townsend. Brad Townsend is my guy. I saw when that whole thing was going on, but I love Brad Townsend. I got a lot of respect for Mr. Townsend. I was just curious.
So like I said, when you throw that up, but Mark, anybody can say, he didn't say, well, what does this mean by, he ain't thinking about the words that hard.
Between those lines
listen, man. I wouldn't be doing my job, CA, if I didn't, read things carefully and, assess these things.
Try to read between the lines.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to. Hey, Jerry Jones said, I'll never fire. He said, I don't believe in firing a head coach in the middle of the season. He never said he wouldn't fire a head coach in the middle of the season, right? And what did he do? He fired Wade Phillips in the middle of the season. You just gotta be careful with these guys. That's all it is.
Yeah, you never say never.
There you go. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So, why do you think?
But there's no logical reason to think that Luka Doncic is like. See, this was so funny. Mm-hmm. Certain media people, because they either have, or Maverick fans have fear in their heart because Luka's so good. Oh, we could lose him.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
Thank you.
Part of the equation is this. He's not from the United States. So he don't have the mentality of, ooh, I want to go to the Lakers because the Lakers have always been the great. No, he don't think that way.
You know what,
That's
Chris?
like Giannis.
It's funny you just said that. We just had a jabroni who's supposed to be in the studio with us tonight. EA call up here. Oh, we're gonna lose Luke, and I keep trying to put it. See, their head is hard. Him too. I keep trying to explain to them.
Listen,
they are foreign players. They don't think like that. They don't think like that. They want a ball.
I'll give you the best example of all. Okay, Sidney Moncrief, former Mavericks assistant coach, who's now up in Milwaukee. He does their radio broadcast just like Brad Davis does it for the Dallas Mavericks, right? Or just like Derek Harper does for the TV broadcast. So he's up there, and he's a good friend of mine. So this summer, I asked him about all these theoreticals people throwing about. Oh, Giannis might leave. They got to do more to help Giannis. And he said, Chris, he's not from here, and I'm telling you, he is loyal to the city. People keep looking at the franchise saying, what are they going to do? It ain't got nothing to do with this. He said, if you want to think for him to leave, he would have to leave after he gets them a championship. Then he'd probably feel like, well, I've done all I can do. And I think Luka is more wired that way than chasing a championship for another franchise because he doesn't think the Mavericks can do it for him.
Well, I'm glad it took a big time guy like you to come in here and say that, because obviously, you know, when I say it, it doesn't hold weight. You know, a legend like you can say it and it means weight.
Just some context, and I give you one more example. This is the Dirk example. I remember the last few years of his career. I guess it was right after the championship, after Mark blew up the team. There was this rumor of, oh, Dirk he's gonna leave. His contract is up. Oh my God, he's gonna leave. Somebody's gonna take it. I'm like, y'all don't understand, he ain't going nowhere. And they were like, well, he could just leave because he's mad and frustrated because the Mavericks blew up the team and they're not building good and the whole 9 yards. I said, listen, Dirk doesn't have an agent. Nobody can get in touch with Dirk in the offseason. They don't know how to get to him. He ain't going nowhere. If he's going to do anything, he would retire. That would be the only thing he would do. He's not going to just up and go somewhere because he doesn't have an agent. And nobody can get a hold of him unless you know Dirk. And these other teams and other agents and GMs, they don't know him like that. So, like I said, unless you have some context to know the rest of the story, you can always fret and worry. But all it just means is that people love Luka, and it's a fear of loss. And a fear of loss is kind of like what scares people. People are more afraid of fear than of joy.
We're talking with a two-time Radio Hall of Fame, Chris Arnold. And Billy, you had something?
CA, first and foremost, man, it's great to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while, man.
Been a while, man.
Glad to see you. So I have a question for you. So I understand what you're saying about the, Luka and Giannis and those type of guys not being wired in that way. However, isn't it still somewhat dangerous to, put it like this. I think that a lot of the Mavericks fans out there, they're concerned that the mentality is that, hey, we don't necessarily have to get better. We're not concerned about Luka leaving. So if we don't go and make aggressive moves to make this team better, then it's not a big deal. And I think that's what people are afraid of. They're thinking that we're just going to sit around and we're going to continue to waste Luka. I think that's going to be the main concern. So is there any concern with that as far as you think that out, or is that just
no? Okay. No. If you think that way, you're dismissing the first 12 years of Dirk's career down there. When Mark Cuban bought the team in 2000, he and Donnie were always making these moves, trying to get the Mavericks better. Get Dirk better help. Dirk and Finley better help. They wanted to keep Nash. He learned that lesson and didn't let that happen again. But the point I'm trying to make is they've always made some moves, whatever they needed to do. The only reason they didn't make those same similar moves after Cuban blew up the team, and by the way, he blew up the team based on analytics, which was stupid, but that's what he did. He said, he looked at Oklahoma City, everybody on their roster was 23 years old, and they were on the rise. He looked at Miami, they had just got together, and he goes, oh my God, we are a team that won a championship, not a championship team like a dynasty, because everybody was in the 30s. Right. So he said, I'm gonna blow this thing up, because based on the numbers, we can probably acquire some free agents and get better quickly. Well, what he did wrong was they ignored the draft, They could not make stunning trades, and they did all of this because to get Dirk to buy into this whole blow up the team mentality, Dirk said, I'm gonna retire. I ain't gonna around for no rebuild. You gonna rebuild for the draft? There ain't gonna be no Philadelphia process. I'm gonna retire. I don't need this. I'm too old for this.
Right.
And the reason he couldn't get free agents is because Dirk was in his mid-30s. And every free agent said, I love Dirk. But Dirk might retire on my ass.
Right.
So Maverick fans should not fear. All you have to do is look, you're trying to discount 12 to 15 years of them doing everything, using every tool in the shed. They only stopped using every tool when Dirk said, I'm going to retire if y'all don't keep me in the playoffs every year. Well, and the only reason they couldn't get him free agents to come is because as much as they love Dirk, Dirk was too damn old. All the free agents nowadays, superstars, all pros, love Luka because Luka's 21 years old. And Luka is a guard. He's not just somebody you throw the ball to who's going to hit a fadeaway three. Luka sets you up to be great.
Right.
And Luka's personality is such that, oh, man, I want to play with this dude. He's competitive, and then when it's over with, he's a lot of fun. So that's why Maverick fans should not fear of Donnie and Mark not giving Luka everything he needs. They want to do it as soon as possible, too. But there's no rush, because he's not old. You got to let this thing happen because otherwise you're going to hurt yourself in the bigger picture.
Thank you, CA. Thank you for illustrating it out for Billy, who seems to not understand that. But let me ask you this. What do you think this team needs right now to help it get back on the track or just to see some type of winning formula? We saw tonight they pretty much got ran off the floor, but I predicted a loss tonight with them tonight. But I predicted they would beat Boston. Without Porzingis, I didn't feel they had enough down there to contain Joel Embiid. But when you watch the games and you look back, what do you see that this team needs that's like, okay, this is where we got to go to get to where we're trying to get to?
What has happened over the last, 2 weeks at home, 3 weeks at home, since the month of February started, they've had practice time together. They didn't have any of that in January. Season started halfway through December. They had more road games than any team in the league at that time. They also lost 41 player games. The players who had COVID. 20 days those guys missed. And some of them who have come back, including Josh Richardson, Jay Rich, this dude ain't even got his wind and his stamina back. Because it wasn't like he had non-conditions or what do you call it?
I forget the word for it.
You know the word. It starts with a vowel, but it wasn't like it was a. I mean, there are some guys who get it, but they're not affected.
Yeah.
Or it's like the flu. No, he was laid up in the bed.
Yeah, he had it
for a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to assume, especially basketball players, unlike maybe a baseball player, it's not like they got everything back immediately because they're using more of their bodies than most people do. Basketball is a very difficult sport, especially when you have to make these runs all the time. So I'm not giving you excuses. I'm just giving you context on why they aren't dominant. But guess what? When they were playing well the first 3 weeks of the season, they had a winning record. And they have been playing well, excluding last night's loss, they have won 7 of the last 9 games. Mm-hmm. So they basically have won 7 out of 10 now. That's not terrible. No. That's what I thought they could do. You got all these home games now. That means you can practice now. You got full roster now. Maxi Cleve was ankled, got rolled, and he just came back today. Porzingis got this back issue, so his availability is the issue. And
I fully really expect him a back issue, or are we trying to trade Porzingis?
He's got a back issue.
Okay. I was going to say, CA, that's a huge question popping up down here in the little comment block, man. Everyone wants to know. They want to know if KP is on the block or are the Mavericks just kind of playing with our minds, telling us it's a back issue?
No, they're not playing with your minds. It is a back issue.
Okay.
Is he moving stiff around the AACCA? Well, you saw him last night, Tuesday night over there at the AA. Was he moving stiff or was he moving like regular KP? Because I'm one of those guys who believe that this whole thing is just a charade. And, he's going to heal magically in 2 weeks and be back on the court and everything will be fine. There'll be no trade talks and nothing like that.
You talking to a man who's got a back problem. I got a back problem. I got 4 herniated discs in my back. Ooh. Sometimes sometimes I can't even try. I look like Fred Sanford sometimes out there. I know how he must feel. You can't play with a back. The thing you've got to trust is the Dallas Mavericks trainer, Casey Smith, is the best trainer in the NBA,
Best in the NBA.
bar none. And you got to go with what he says. Unfortunately for Porzingis, I feel bad for Porzingis on one thing. I think because fans see how he's being load managed sometimes, and saw or they heard about the 2 significant injuries that he had that required surgery. They think he's injury prone. And until he's healthy and plays, a whole lot of games without another injury, he's going to have that reputation. It just goes with the territory. It's kind of like, I'm going to give you a common example that nobody in Dallas wants to admit to. But all the people in Dallas, because I had to deal with them, arguing with them on the radio all the time, said Dirk was a soft Euro.
Yes,
and they'll never win a championship. He can't, he needs some help. He can't do it by himself. I don't care. All these guys they trade for, J Kidd is washed. I don't know why they traded a very healthy Devin Harris. I don't know why you brought him in. Sean Marion getting kind of old. All these other guys, they can't. You need somebody that's better than Dirk or equal to Dirk, because Dirk is soft. Then he wins the title. Oh, well, I always loved Dirk.
Right.
Dirk is the guy. And Dirk's championship is the hardest championship of anybody of all time. Dirk is such a guy. No, they weren't saying that from 2000 to 2010.
They weren't.
In fact, when he won the MVP in 2007, when they had won 67 games, the most games since Michael Jordan won 72 in the Bulls, and they got knocked out by Golden State. He wins that MVP. He ran off to Australia out of embarrassment because everybody said, how dare you win that MVP? Your team sucked. You are soft. So I've watched people's reputation get destroyed until they win a title. I've watched people who play well initially. I'm saying this about Luka, because Luka's a great player. And all of a sudden, you don't win that title after a while. They turn on you. Ask Tony Romo.
Oh.
Tony Romo started his career in Dallas. Oh my God, he's just the greatest. And then it's like, oh, Romo sucks. I'm gonna tell you something. They probably would have been 5-11. All those 8 years, it would have been 5-11 if it wasn't for Tony Romo.
Thank you, Chris.
So let me say one last thing about Porzingis and why I feel sorry for him. Because don't go by me. I always ask people these questions before I stick my neck out, right? Because I asked the questions about Russell Wilson back when everybody was saying he was overrated, too short, he throws jump balls, and he's lucky, and he's not really that good. And he was a Rangers shortstop, when he came down to spring training. I talked to, did you know Travis Frederick was his center in college?
Yeah, over at Wisconsin. Yep.
Yes. I asked him, what kind of player is Russell Wilson? Is he a leader? Is he overrated? What's the deal? I talked to Troy Aikman about it. He says the greatest leader I've ever seen, for somebody his age, out of all the players I've interviewed since I've retired. Russell Wilson's got all these characteristics. Meanwhile, all the people at the time were saying, oh, he's overrated. He got the Legion of Boom. Anybody can hand the ball off the beast mode and win and go to the Super Bowl 2 times in a row. Russell Wilson ain't no good. He's too short. And even Belichick compared him to Roger Staubach, and people lost their damn minds. Russell Wilson, how dare they put? So I'm out there defending Russell Wilson based on the research I did, finding out everything about him from people who've been around him, people who's supposed to know. And I get torn to shreds. They always shoot the messenger, right? That Chris Arnold, he's the one. I talked to Travis Frederick, who said, Russell came in from playing baseball, didn't know nobody on this team, took over the locker, and led us to the Rose Bowl. Broke all of Drew Brees' Big Ten passing records and touchdown records in one season. He says a hell of a guy. Russell Wilson is the truth. And I'm quoting Travis Frederick. But I still get ripped.
Right.
So let me explain about Porzingis before you ask me another question. The doctors tell me Porzingis is not injury prone. Now, that's his reputation right now because the fans look at the availability. The best ability is availability. I can't control his availability. The doctor who said this is T.O. Soriel. Are y'all familiar with T.O. Soriel? He was the Dallas Mavericks doctor for years. He was the president of the NBA Doctors Association. He's the same doctor that told Mark and Donnie and all the rest of them, y'all better not offer Chandler Parsons that money. Chandler Parsons and that knee, and they dodged the bullet. Remember, it was Memphis that gave Chandler Parsons $96 million. T.O. Storiel said, Chandler Parsons is damaged goods.
That's it.
And it was also Casey Smith, who's the best trainer in the business,
Right.
co-signed with T.O. Casey Smith is also the one that said, you know what, Mark? Tyson Chandler is not injury prone. And Tyson Chandler is a great leader. And why don't you just steal him away from the Charlotte Bobcats from Michael Jordan while you can? And then he comes down here and helps the Mavericks win a championship, and he plays 75 games. And what does Mark do? He foolishly thinks, oh, he got that injury history, I'm going to let him go. He signs with the Knicks, Defensive Player of the Year, and makes the All-Star team. They bring him back. He plays all the games again. He goes, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you can stereotype a player and say, oh, they're injury prone, but the doctors tell me something different. So let me tell you about those two injuries that Porzingis had and why the doctors say he's not injury prone. When he tore up his knee, the ACL, he was dunking on Giannis. They all collided in the air on the dunk. He came down wrong, tore up the knee. It happens in the NBA. Lots of players get ACLs, but that was a contact injury. He gets traded to the Mavericks because the Knicks, they want to spend money and bring in KD and cap space and, draft Zion. We need to tank for Zion while we're at it. We don't even need Porzingis. So Porzingis comes down here, right? His doctors and Casey Smith said, you know what? They got him on this one-year plan because the Knicks weren't going to use him. They're trying to tank, where he's going to build himself up. He's not going to be frail and skinny. They're going to build his physique up. The knee is fine. He's going to build him up so he won't wear down. So he comes back and he plays last year. The Mavericks played 75 games last year. 75, most in the league due to the pandemic. There wasn't even an 82-game season. They played 75. How many did Porzingis play? Y'all know off the top of your head, because I'll tell you if you don't.
No, I don't.
What, last
He
season?
played 58
You talking about games
last season.
Yeah,
58 out of
yeah,
75.
including playoffs.
And
there,
this
right?
was with Casey Smith telling him, we're not going to play you on back-to-backs. That's Casey Smith not letting him. It wasn't Porzingis. See, this is why I feel sorry for him, because he wants to play, and the doctors said, no, we're going to keep you in this bubble wrap because you're young, and we don't want to overexert you. You haven't played in 20 months. So he gets down in the bubble, and guess what? He averages 30 points a game in the bubble and gets named second team all bubble.
Yeah.
You think everybody would be happy with that? Yeah, they were. And then guess what happened? The playoffs started. Do you know a guy by the name of Marcus Morris?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
That's the same guy that went after Luka's ankle, right?
Yep.
Do you realize what happened in game one? He goes after Luka's ankle.
He said it was an accident.
Porzingis gets in his face, getting in your face. And then they kick out Porzingis and suspend him a game, right?
Right.
Also in that very same game, game one, Marcus Morris went after Porzingis' knee. They were going up for a rebound, and the gangster, the thug, the goon, went after Porzingis' knee.
We need one.
So Porzingis, he misses game two, comes back game three, puts up his 24 points and 11 rebounds like he normally does, and then he sits the next game. And the Mavericks won't say why. Porzingis wants them to tell the world Marcus Morris went after his knee, and that he doesn't know what's wrong with his knee. It's swelling. But Carlisle's treating it like it's a hockey injury, upper body, lower body. He won't say what's going on. And then he can't play the next game. And then he can't play the next game. And meanwhile, Morris goes after goes after the ankle again. He gets suspended.
Right.
But guess who gets the bad reputation?
Yeah.
Porzingis. Oh, he's always hurt. He don't want to play. He's not tough enough. He don't have any heart. And then they announce after the series is over, he's got a torn meniscus. So he has a surgery. Do you realize he's come back quicker from his surgery than Jaren Jackson, same torn meniscus from Memphis, who still hasn't played this season?
Yep.
But Porzingis is injury prone.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. He's got a problem with availability. He's got availability issues. And until he plays more often, he's going to have to live that down. But I'm not going to call him injury prone because the doctors say he's not. He got contact injuries. And one time it was deliberate.
So before we let you go here, Billy says he doesn't know the story.
I'm just dropping knowledge. I know I'm taking up all your time. You don't want to hear all that.
No. I needed that, CA.
Put like this. There are going to be people that they don't care about that because that don't fit into their narrative.
Right.
Like Walt's got a narrative already. Let's trade KP, and the Mavericks ain't announcing it. So that's information you don't really need.
Tell him about himself, CA. Tell him about himself.
You've got it. You got it.
My God.
Wait a minute. What? Is your nickname Clickbait? What is?
First
Is that what you're trying to do?
First off, sir, I'm an advocate, okay? Second of all, I'm a man of
Yes, you
integrity. I don't deserve that treatment. Number two.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Number three, I don't want Porzingis traded. I want Porzingis here. Just being honest. Now,
Okay, but he's not going to be traded, and he's not injury prone. But you got me if you say he's not available because he's not available. He got availability issues, and he's mad. He's frustrated that the Mavericks coaches don't play him longer, and the Mavericks trainers won't let him play the back-to-backs. And they say they're protecting him from himself.
before we let you go here, Billy, before you came on, we were having a discussion. He seems to not remember. He doesn't know the story of you and Miss Jackson. I know you don't have time to tell the full story, but can you just confirm if there was we'll say this, there was a situation that developed between you and Miss Jackson?
Anybody listen to the radio all those years, they know the story as well as I do because I had to live it. But I'm not going to talk about all of it.
There you
all
go.
I can say is things happen.
There you go.
There you go, my guy.
CA, it's a pleasure to have you on, man. It's a great pleasure to me because, like I said at the beginning, you were a big part of my broadcast against Star.
And I'm so proud of you, man. I'm serious because a lot of people would have thrown in the towel because you faced some hurdles, man. I'm so proud of this program you've got right now because it's first class. It's just a matter of time.
You were a big part, and I still give you credit for even the status you were for even taking the idea of doing that bit with me to even get me started. I take that all the way.
Champ.
Yeah, I take that so much, man. We had so much fun doing that bit, man. We had so much fun doing that. But yeah, man, thank you again, man.
That was like WWE.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I just came along. But the thing that you did for me that I'll never forget, you did for me. You said it after I did something. I cut some promo or something. And you said these words that I'll never, ever forget. You said, damn, that Walter's talented. And I'll take that to my grave. I don't care what anybody say. That put me, when you said that, I was like, all right, I'm here now. I'm here. I heard from Chris Arnold. He said it.
That made it official.
Well, thank you again, man. And you and your buddy Kevin Gray was just in, your tag team partner Kevin Gray was just in here. He wanted to give a shout out to you for having
all right, KG.
on.
He's talented too. He's got some skills.
Listen, that guy right there, that is my competition. I fear that man right there. I don't fear no man, but I fear that man right there. He is a hell of a broadcaster.
He's a hell of a broadcaster, and boy, he can spout some words, man.
Yes.
He can talk about life at the beginning as it manifests itself through the eternal complexity of renunciation as opposed to the juxtaposition of the inferior mind.
It's like he went to college or something.
Seemed like it, right?
So when actually will you be back on the radio so we can tell the people real quick?
Tomorrow on G-Bag.
Okay, so you'll be on
2 to 7. I'll be in for Jeff.
What about will you be on
And
this
of course,
week?
Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, all right. Well, again, man, we're gonna check you out on Saturday, Sunday, and tomorrow. And appreciate you joining us, man. Have a good evening.
Salute. 105.3 The Fan got you down.
My guy.
Oh man, that always I do always take that to the I take that